Okay, last class continuation example. So now I'm trying to creating an object W1. This is a one reference variable equal to class name. Next one, print of W1, W1 dot image. To write this example. Okay, last class we will discussing what is object, how to creating an object, this is the syntax, and what is the reference variable. This is a class declaration. Next one is a method definition. Next one, this is a object creation statement. So this is a method calling statement. Completed. Now observing very clearly. Our class is executed. iMessage is printed. Next control go to the statement. Now this is a which statement? Method definition. Then immediately control will go to outside the method definition. Okay, this is the outside the method definition statement. Control will go to this statement. Now this statement is executed. Okay. Next one, control will go to this statement. This is a which statement? Object creation. That means in the memory location, one object is created. W1 equal to Vishesh. Okay, whenever we are creating an object, internally what will be happen? Our Python virtual machine take this object to generating the hash code. That hash code is passing to this reference variable. Print of W1. Control will go to print of W1 statement. That means, okay, W1 is which one? A reference variable which holds the hash code. Hash code in the sense hexadecimal format, 0x, some address. Okay. Next one, control go to this statement. This is a which statement? Method calling. Then immediately control will go to method definition. Observing very clearly, here one default parameter is there, that is a self. But at the time of calling method, we are not passing any value. By default, what is the W1? W1 is a reference variable. Reference variable which holds the hash code. Simply that hash code itself is passing to the default parameter of our method. In our method, we can take one default parameter, but at the time of calling that method, by explicitly we are not passing any value to the default parameter. By default, the reference variable value is automatically itself is passing to default parameter. Now our method logic is executed. Okay, now our method execution is over. Then immediately control will go to from here to here. Once our method execution is over, control will go to the next statement of the previous method calling. This is the previous method calling statement. Control will go to the next statement. What is the next statement? By statement. That is the execution flow.
So, sir, this object will pass to this message method.
Okay, here I am calling the method. Already we were discussing through the reference variable, we can access static properties, non-static properties, and methods. In this example, I am not discussing any static and non-static, just I am defining only method. We can call the method with the help of object. Object is representing, this is a reference variable representing an object. Through that reference variable, we can access this method. Completed. Okay, observing very clearly the reference variable to hold the hash code of that object. Okay, observing very clearly what is the meaning of the statement. Wishes is a class name. Wishes class object is created at this particular address. Okay, underscore underscore main underscore underscore means in Python terminology, we can save any Python file with a .py extension. That is nothing but a one module. By default, that module is nothing but a main module. Okay, in modular programming, we will discussing. In Python terminology, every Python file acts as a one module. That module is nothing but a main module. That means main module, which one? Wishes class object created in this particular memory location. Next one, we can create any number of objects. We can create a number of objects to the single class. But each and every object having unique address. We can create any number of objects to the single class, but each and every object having unique address. Class test m1 of self method name. T1 equal to test class. Print of T1. T2 equal to test class. Print of T2. T3 equal to test class. Print of T3. Okay, each and every object having unique address. Here I am creating three objects. This is a one object creation, second object and third object. But these three objects having different addresses.
Sir, one doubt here.
Yeah, tell me.
So, what is the case if we have different methods? Let's say M1 is one method, M2 and M3.
Yeah.
So for each and every method, we have to create separate object.
Okay, we are not creating the object for the methods. We are creating the object for the class. Class contains any number of methods.
Okay, in this case, then T1, T2, T3 are different objects, but they're calling same method. Then what is
Yeah.
the use of creating multiple objects for the same class?
Okay, observing very clearly. For suppose I am taking as one customer banking application. Okay, in that application, withdraw method is there and a deposit method is there. Now I'm creating any number of customers, customer one object, customer two object, customer three object, up to customer n objects. Customer one using withdraw method and customer one using deposit method. Customer two using withdraw method and deposit method. Customer three using withdraw and deposit method. What is your doubt? These are the different objects, the different customers. Okay, class is nothing but a logical entity. We can existing that logical entity into physical existence. Then we go for the object creation. Without object creation, that class is not existent into the physically.
Okay, sir, got it. Thank you.
For suppose here I am taking as a one more class, student class. Student is a one class. In that student class, I am defining a number of methods. Student read and write. Okay, that class contains any number of students. Student one, student two, up to student n. Okay, student one to access read method and write method. Student two access read and write method. Student three access read and write method up to student n access the read and write method. These are the physical existences of this particular class. By using these objects, we can performing any operation in this particular class. Complete. Okay, for suppose I am taking as a one more class, simply class demo. AF M2 hello. Okay. Now I am saving this file name sample. Okay. My module name is sample. Now I am importing this module into our program. Okay, how to access that module? Import. Our module name is sample. Now here I am creating T2 equal to in my sample module. In my sample module, one class is available. What is that class name? Demo. Now print of T2. Now observing very clearly. Okay. Test class where it is available. Test class is available in our main module. That's why to give the output as a which one? Underscore underscore main underscore underscore. But demo class where it is available in the sample module. This is the module name. Module name sample. In that module, demo class is there. The demo class object we are created. That object address. This is the memory location. Are you clear? If you're interested, we can write this example. Otherwise, skipping. Okay, this is a module name. By default, every Python file acts as a one module. That module is called main module. Completed?
So when I'm trying to import this sample module, I'm getting some error like no module with that name.
Yeah, first we need to create that module. Without creating that module, how to importing? Already I am creating one module.
Uh, I have created in another in another file.
Yeah, we can creating that program. That program name is sample.py. Okay, this is a program name. Okay, both files are in the same location. Are you clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then only we can access. Later we will discussing module search path or everything in the at the time of discussing modules. Okay, here I am creating a one Python file. That file name I am saving as a sample.py. This is sample.py file and my another file both are in the same location. Okay, C colon Python 310, C colon Python 310 folder. Okay.
Yes, sir. Got it.
If any confusion, if you interest, we can write this one also. This is our module. That module I am importing. This is my another program. Base.py. Okay. Without this file, we cannot import it. Okay. First, we need to create this file, then only we can import it. Otherwise, we will get the one message module not found error. Next point, with respect to one object, we can call one method n number of times. With respect to one object, we can call one method n number of times. There is no limitation. We can call n number of times. Now observing very clearly. Now I am creating T1 object. With respect to T1 object, I am calling M1 method T1.M1, 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 T1.M1. With respect to T2 object, T2.M1, T2.M1, T2.M1. With respect to T3 object, T3 dot M1. Okay. With respect to one object, we can call one method n number of times. With respect to T1 object, I am calling M1 method 4 times. With respect to T2 object, I am calling M1 method 3 times. With respect to T3 object, I am calling M1 one time. Now observing very clearly, basically how to implementing the logs. How to implementing the logs. For suppose how to manufacturing this log, we need to require one structure. That nothing but a mold. Without a structure, we cannot implement this type of logs. Okay, for suppose a basic design is required. Based upon this design, we can manufacturing the logs. This design is nothing but a class. Okay, this is a class. Based upon this design, we can existing this particular design into physically. Now this is a physical existence of this particular design. Now this is nothing but a object. Next one, if you want to performing any operation in this particular object, in this particular class, we need to require a reference. Okay, now this is nothing but a reference. By using this reference only, we can performing the operation on this particular object, like as a lock or unlock operations. How to performing the lock and unlock operation? By using this key. Key act as a reference. This structure is nothing but a class. That structure we are implemented into one physical existence, that is nothing but an object. If you want to performing any operation on that one, we need to require a key. Key is nothing but a reference. Okay, here I am creating only single object with a single reference key. Are you clear? For suppose, this is also another one. Observing very clearly, single object with the two references. Okay, later we will discussing one object contains multiple references also. Okay, this is a single object and multiple references. Now this is another example. Previously I am taking as two references. Here I am taking as n number of references. We can creating n number of references. Now observing very clearly. Okay, I want to manufacturing logs. We need to require which one? One structure is required. That structure is nothing but a class. For suppose this is a structure. Structure is nothing but a basic design. This is nothing but a class. We can creating n number of objects. This is a one physical existence, object 1. This is another physical existence, object 2. This is another physical existence, object 3. This is another physical existence, object 4. Here I am creating 4 objects. Now these are the references. Okay, we can creating n number of objects to single class, but each and every object having unique address. For suppose this reference is only suitable for this particular object. That means by using these keys, we can performing only operation on this particular object. We cannot performing on this particular object because these two objects having the unique addresses. Next one, what is the self? A self is a reference variable. Self is also a reference variable. Reference variable which is pointing to current class object. A self is a reference variable which is pointing to current class object. Okay. Next one, whenever we are instantiating an object, whenever we are instantiating an object, internally itself is passing to default parameter of the method. Whenever we are instantiating an object, internally itself is passing to default parameter of the method. Okay, observing very clearly why we need to take the default parameter name as a self. For suppose in real time, if you want to implementing the project, that single project is not implemented by single developer. In the real time, n number of developers to working on single project. For suppose developer 1 and developer 2, developer 3 and developer 4. Now observing very clearly, at the time of writing the coding, the developer 1 using the default parameter name is XYZ. The developer 2 using the default parameter name is PQR. The developer 4 using default parameter name is Shiva. And the developer 3 using default parameter name is ABC. Okay. Finally, we can merging all the developer code into single repository. At that time, the test engine is too confusing which is the default parameter. Some of the code default parameter is XYZ. Some of the code default parameter name is PQR. Some of the code default parameter name is ABC. Some of the code default parameter name is Shiva. Okay, the tester are confusing which is the default parameter. This is a one problem. To overcome that problem, at the time of implementation of the any language coding, all the developer following some guidelines. Okay, in Python, PEP is there. Python enhancement proposal. This is a one committee. This is one organization to providing some guidelines. Okay, based upon that guidelines, we can implementing the Python code. Okay, Python enhancement proposal. This is the one committee to providing some standard guidelines. Based upon that guidelines, we are implementing the Python applications. The basic guidelines means all the developers using should be unique name. That means common name. Next one, which common name we are taking? Okay, for suppose you are observing very clearly, whenever we are instantiating an object, internally, what is the meaning? Internally itself. That means without user interaction, whenever we are creating an object, that object address is automatically is passing to the default parameter of the method. Okay, itself is passing to default parameter. That's why the developers are using one unique name. That unique name is called self. Without self, we can take any name, our code is executed. Okay, what is the first statement? A self is also nothing but a reference variable. That means whenever we are creating any object, that object having two references. What are the references? For suppose here I am creating t1 dot m1. Okay, print of t1. Print of t2. Here I am trying to printing self. Okay, observing very clear. What is the first statement? A self is a reference variable which is pointing to current class object. That means, for suppose here I am creating an object. Here I am creating an object. Okay, this is object creation statement. Now, how many references are there? T1 is a one reference. Internally, the default parameter is also act as a one reference. Totally, how many references? Two references in this particular object. Next, in this particular object, how many references? T2 is a one reference. At the same time, self is a reference. Observing very clearly, with respect to this object, the self value and the T1 value is the same. Next one, with respect to this object, T2 value and the self value is the same. That is a statement. A self is a reference variable which is pointing to current class object. That means by using which class reference variable we are using or which object reference variable we are using, automatically that T1 value is passing to default parameter. That means self value and T1 value both are same. Okay, this is a T1 value. This is a self value. This is a T2 value. This is a self value. Okay, self contains address of that particular object. Okay, keep in mind one point. We are not passing by explicitly any value to self. That means default parameter. By default, that particular object address is automatically passing to default parameter. We are passing the values only Which one? Other than default parameter values only, by manually we are passing. Now observing very clearly, don't confusing. Here don't require self is not a mandatory. Simply I am taking as a one name. Now our program successfully executed. Don't give any other messages. Okay. For suppose I am taking as another name. Okay. But at the time of implementing the any programming language applications, okay, that programming language providing some guidelines. To follow that guidelines, we are implementing the logic. Okay, we are implementing any class in built-in classes. Okay, every method, which one having one default parameter, what is that parameter name? Self. Okay, that is a standard guideline we are following. Okay, self. Why we need to take the self as a default parameter? Whenever we are instantiating an object, itself is passing to which one? The default parameter of the method or constructor. That's why we are passing the default parameter name as a self. Okay, self is not a mandatory name. We can take any name.
Yes.
Okay. All of it clear? Here self is not a mandatory name. We can take anything, but in real time, always we are following the self parameter. Okay, next class we will discussing static variables concept, static, non-static, and local.